Oh, welcome to the SheSellsWeed podcast. We are your host, Mindy.
And Jax.
We have a lovely guest on today. First, I do want to thank our sponsors, the Pocket Dispensary and the Delta Boys. You can find some really good fire, good quality weed, and really amazing bud tenders at these stores. So go and visit. We have a Spenta here today, A.K.A. Smoking Spent. So Spenta has a lot of really amazing experience in the industry for sales, marketing, dispensary support, and then also community leadership and coming together as an organization as a founding mother of Grown Woman Good Weed. So welcome, Spenta. We are so excited to have you on today.
Hey, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you guys. I'm so honored and I appreciate this opportunity so much. So thank you both for this creative idea and for getting us out here, because there's a lot of us women who sell weed. So I'm super excited about this. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, I think that's it. Is that we all just sell weed, really? I mean, in some capacity, you know what I mean? It's like that's all we do, sell weed. You know,
weed, so we sell weed, we smoke weed.
Hey,
that's what we do.
That part right there.
Yeah,
we're the female incarnation of the female cannabis plant. Just
there we go.
Around,
yeah, the plant
is
us.
Female. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I do love how, when we were talking about bringing you on and what you want to talk about, it was about empowering women and supporting women. And that is very aligned to our mission and what we're doing. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that women need that voice? Like, do you think it's not happening? Like, do you think we need to empower it more?
Basically, what I see is you'll walk into a room of 80 men and there's probably 5 women. Mm-hmm. So that's mainly what it is. It's basically just what we saw. Even as Grown Women Good Weed, I think the whole group kind of started because we noticed all the men in the industry. Mm-hmm. And the men getting together to go play bowling or do this or do that. And it's just like
golfing.
Yeah, golfing. Oh my gosh.
Golfing actually was a big thing for a second.
Dude, I have to literally, I was telling my girl, I'm like, we got to go start golfing so that I can
and
get in on these conversations.
Yeah. Even the cannabis brands are getting into that. Like you see them doing it. But I just noticed they always had like plans for doing stuff. And shout out to Katie and Anissa. They're the ones that started Grown Women Good Weed. The first one was 2021. Yeah. We just had her birthday, so that's really exciting.
Congratulations.
But it all started literally. Thanks. And it all just started in Katie's backyard. And it was same thing. They noticed that hey, we need a community for women. We don't really have anywhere to get together and not just smoke, but really network and just be within the group of like-minded people who love the plant like you do.
Yeah.
Yes. And of course we like pink. It's a lot of the times. Energy. Yeah. And it's just we used to go to sessions and go to different events and no shade on the people that throw the events, but you always know when it's a guy throwing an event versus a girl. Cause there's no tablecloths.
There's no detail. There's no detail.
Yeah. And there's a community for everybody, right? Right. You need that. I'm not going to be into some of the things other people are into, but I love crystals. I love, different, I love tarot readings. I love those types of things.
I mean, not everyone likes pink, right? Yeah, so I totally get that. And I think that's kind of where we were okay, we don't really have this. Why not be the group that provides a safe space for the women that want to be in this setting.
That's the key. I think that's what I've always, if you want something and it's not there, you have to create it yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing. I think when you look at women history as a whole, I think we're only 100 years out from women actually being able to be in industry fully represented, right?
Yep.
Which is some people say that's one lifetime ago, right? Oh, yeah. So we're really we are pioneers in women in industry, and it is up to us ladies to start building those things instead of looking to other people to build them for us. Correct. We have to say, okay, we need to provide this. We're going to be those ladies. And it is courageous to do it because it is scary. It's scary for Mindy and I to put ourselves out here. Everybody's going to see us. Everybody's going to hear us. Everybody's going to know us. Oh, yeah. But at the same time, it's then there's this other side of it that's so much better than the
everybody's going to hear you. Everybody's going to see you. And
everybody's going to represent
light. Yeah.
Exactly. And so you can't be afraid of that fear. You have to just put yourself out there. So if you're a lady out there looking to want to start an organization or build leadership within women, don't be afraid to to just jump out there,
literally,
regardless of your experience. Because some of those ladies that you guys work with, like they're like, how old is Anissa? She's got to be in her 20s, right? She's kind of younger.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. You know, I'm so bad with like age with everyone, but she's definitely in her
20s, right?
Yeah, or something. Yeah,
so she's young, so she's not got years of experience like I do, and she's getting out there, starting things like that. And that is what's cool about this industry is that there's so much open space. Like you just got to go build.
Yeah, and it's super cool because like each one of us come with such different backgrounds, and I think that's what really makes the group work a lot. We have such different skill sets and different networks and different points of view.
Yeah,
there's literally times where we're on a chat just going back and forth on, do we do this background? Do we do this? Do we set up this table this way? And it's like, sometimes people don't even understand that it's not just a table of food. It's like a part of the presentation. It's a part of the event. It's a part of something that you're providing for these guests to experience. So there's a lot of back and forth of like, do we get pretzels? Do we not? And it like sounds like it's such a small thing in the moment, but then you see the content, you see the people interacting, you see the experiences and the memories they're all making together.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, okay,
about your
we're
event
working together.
too, that it is like, I noticed like it's decorated really nicely. There's a lot of things going on, and it's the experience because all of that care and all that detail is providing an experience for the people that come. And then you can remember that and
literally,
like have a really good time and not even have to think about it. Oh, there's so many activities, there's so much stuff to do. This is great. What is your favorite part about putting the events together and
oh my gosh,
bringing people together?
I love it all. There's so many little aspects to it, but from just even like buying the decor to getting the brands involved, like just seeing that we've built something so credible and like so community oriented that we don't really have to reach out as much like we did before for brands to get involved. They're almost like, hey, when's your next event?
Yeah.
When's the next thing happening? Like we want to get involved. And that is really cool. We were just talking about it the other day. We had 7 different activations this year alone. And it just flew over our head. We didn't even realize it till we like brought it up. And we're like, wow, including our holiday hotbox coming up and Hash Hole. That's 7 events where we've not just participated, but we've made history.
Yeah.
State Fair, thanks Mindy. Like that was a huge part. And all we had to do was drop off the photo op. But the fact that we were represented in that setting was like huge.
And I'm going to tell you about that wall at Hall of Flowers. I watched so many women walk up to that wall and just be like, this is us. Like we're here, we're represented. And my boss who helps me run Delta Boys here, she was with me that day. And like for both of us to like have this like really special moment.
I love that.
Thank you for providing that for
the
ladies.
Taking part of that. That was like the whole point of that vision was really, I told my boss, I was like, I wanted to just say wow from far away. Like I want people to be like, what is it wow? And that's why we're like, it's the wall of women. Like we want to be represented. We're in this industry. We have C-suite people. We have marketing managers. We have BAs. We have CEOs. We have business owners, like buyers. We are all in this industry with you men. Doing just as much as the legwork as you guys are, right? Yeah. And that's just really all we wanted. We just wanted a little bit of a representation. Yeah. And that was kind of like a trial and error type of thing. Like they wanted to see where that goes, and it was honestly so successful. Like we have a meeting set up to talk about Ventura.
Yeah, and the photography that you guys put next to it too was also a really cool story that was being told also. So it was also cool. Like we're all together here, but also here's like a really cool story of some older ladies. They've been in it a long time.
That was super dope. That was actually Hall of Flowers did that without even like that wasn't even part
that
of
was
our
like
thing.
Perfect.
And when Rama was like, hey, we're thinking of putting that there, I was like, oh my god, like thank you. That's huge.
Of the activation.
That is so super cool. We met one of the farmers from Moonmade Farms. She was there in front of her painting.
Cool. Wow.
And then she came put up her picture. Like that is so cool to us. And I was like, wow, we are getting like these amazing women represented. Like she was there with her giant weed package, like that was super cool itself. And then we got to put her in our content. We had her on our wall. And that's literally, those are the people that we want to highlight too, because we're all smoking it.
Yeah.
But how much of the time do we even know who's growing it?
Yeah.
Right.
And then how much do we even know if it's a girl growing it? Like we know we already got worked twice as hard just to like get the light on us.
Well, right? as a female that loves cultivation, I found it. I'm a retail manager for a reason. It's very, very hard for companies to put their trust of cultivation leadership side into women for one reason or the other. Yep. And so I just found it was. There's nowhere to go, and so when I do meet those ladies that do still
Super
grow,
exciting.
like, oh my god, I'm like, you've done something here for sure,
right?
So.
I stand there like a sponge.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just like give me info, like let me know all of your story, like what did you do to get here? How did you get here?
And we are so spread out that it's nice to have that place to come together because there are a lot less women. You know, it's not like we're trying to take over. It's like we're trying to create representation so that we can be more even and there's more of a balance to different things. And you know, I used to go and try to get investment and money and stuff, and nobody was giving us money. And there's like 3% of women that get funding or venture capital funding, and it's just because that like recognition, you know, like you're different, like right, like women are different. We think differently than men do in business. Like I definitely have my business different than like Amanda's, but that's my gift. Like that's what makes it special because I can't do it any other way the way that I do it. So having that, like if we get more women investors and more women are going to invest in women, right? Like it like goes and you have mentors and those people that are doing it, then they know, you know, like linking up with people that want to learn. It's so magical.
Well, and I do want to give a shout out to those guys that are participating with women, and they are not. There are a few men out there. I can't right off the top of my head. I can't think of certain guys I want to name right now, but I know that there are allies out there because I've come across them.
Oh, for sure.
And it's real quick. Sure. Like, oh, okay.
He's like you said.
We're just people here. We're not men or women. We're just people working in business, and I love that because that's what I want. It's like it's like you said. It's not about taking over. It's just about being represented, and not in a way of like how I feel like a lot of women have been represented in the industry, where it's about sex sells.
Yes,
you know,
thank you.
I know we sell. We know, okay, but we want to be a little bit more than that. Yeah, exactly. We also want to do our own thing. So, no, I agree with that. So, what happened to all those photographs that everybody put on the wall? What happened to that?
We're actually going to turn it into a moving installation.
Cool.
So, with us having our events, we want to highlight people who not only come to our events, but even have been to an event or have just been highlighted on the wall in general. So it's really cool because we didn't really have the manpower to do the same exact activation for Hashel. It's literally the day before our event.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, we need to like represent the women there, of course. So we actually came out with another art installation, which this will be the debut for it. But we thought about the fact that it was voting year, and we were like, you know what? It has nothing to do with voting, but we kind of took this like aspect of it, and we're building a booth. Shout out to my boyfriend for working for free. But
hey, that's an ally. That's an ally, right?
Ally right there. But he's actually building us this podium type of booth where it's like these pink curtains, and basically it's like this little 5x5 booth that you can walk into, and it'll have a desk in there with a diary, and the diary is actually going to be named the Burn Book.
Oh,
but what we're really doing is obviously like we don't want to be mean girls, but we want to rebrand it, and we want all the women to come and share their stories in that journal of how burning the plant has either helped them positively or how they've used that to cope with different things that they've gone through to life or whatever it is. But basically it's going to be this other moving installation. So I think we're kind of getting into that aspect
I like
too.
to play on words too. Like this, but like we burn it
right.
together. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like, I know like this is where it goes back to working in a group is very efficient. When we like proposed that idea first, me and Dee were like all for it. And Anissa was like, I don't know, burn book, like that's a little iffy, like that's like negative. And we're like, yeah, but that's why we want to like take it and we want to spin that around and like let's bring it into our industry as like the burn book. Like why do you burn your plant, right? Why are you burning every day? Is it medicinal? Is it recreational? Is it you're going through something, or is it just because you had a great day, you're celebrating? Like, we just want to know. We want to know your stories. We want to know any hardships you've gone through because of the plant, or because maybe you got arrested for burning at the park or something, right? Yeah. These are the stories we want to like
your burning stories.
Yeah. And that's initially what connects us all, right? In this industry is this plant. So what are the stories behind it? Let's see it. Let's like find out. And then maybe in our other future events, we could use that as something else where we either have you guys come up and share your stories or like we do something around it.
Are you going to keep it anonymous in the book?
Yes.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And there will be like, this is where I love working in a group, because once Anissa said that, I was like, that's a very great point. So we will have like a poster in there. It'll say the rules. Like you cannot write anything derogatory. We will take it out. It's a page. I'm going to rip it out. So what do you want to do? You want to either be in there positively or you don't want to be in it. Yeah. So we'll have like all the guidelines for it too.
Well, I think that's one thing too, is like, I think they're really, I mean, people can be angry with each other, I think, but I think it's like people things. It's not necessarily like ethical things. Yeah. Like if it was ethical things, then I think that always should be brought to light, because, there are unfortunately people in the industry that do unethical things. But if it's just because you just don't like somebody because you just don't get along with them, like we don't need to.
Don't be putting that in the book.
Yeah, but you need to keep
this
that stuff at
that
home.
Burn book.
No.
We'll order you one.
But I don't know. Maybe somebody drops a dime on somebody. It's like, well, just so you know, these people suck, and this is my sucky experience with them.
Like how do you keep your community safe? You know, in like right ways, right?
Yeah.
Like,
unfortunately, as a woman, we got to be careful in that way.
Yeah, I think it's some deep shit though, because it's like, I think that wellness has always been integrated into our industry as well, or just the plant in general. And like, I like to do like reflective stuff. Like I like to journal. Like I like to, think about stuff, and then that's a way to like get people to engage in that way and like promote wellness to yourself and like bringing people together.
Yeah, I agree. What strain are you smoking right now?
That Badu by Mad Cow. Here we go. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, nice. What are you smoking, Mindy?
I was smoking Nightshade by Connected.
Okay.
So shout out Anissa.
Okay. I got some top shelf Skywalker OG. Nice. Love the Skywalker OG. It's one of my faves for sure.
You got a mix in here.
Yeah, we do. Well, we found it difficult passing joints around, so it's everybody just needs to have their own joint.
But you'll know when I get high, because I'm gonna start passing it. That's my first move as a high
just take
person.
it away from me.
I'm like, here you go. And like every time I do that, when we're smoking our own, the person that's sitting there literally just looks back at me and goes, and I'm like, well, you don't want to? I don't know.
Right. Well, let's switch topics really quick and dive into you a little bit. So where did you grow up? Where are you from?
So I'm originally from Connecticut.
Okay.
That's my American story, right? I'm from Connecticut. I lived there for 14 years.
What's the real story? We don't want the American story.
That's my life in America. No, but I'm from Afghanistan.
Very cool.
I was born in 93, so I was literally born in the first wave of the Taliban taking over.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say,
Yeah, so we actually left when I was 6 months old.
Like as refugees?
Yes.
Wow.
My dad was a really big Democrats and women's rights activists, and he had a reputation because he had worked with the president previously, so he was a presidential advisor. And
our president or their president?
Afghanistan.
Okay.
And what happened was he had built a community around him, and people really saw him as this respectable professor who also like was the principal of one of like the teacher training colleges out there. Oh, so he had connects. Yeah. He was the guy that was like everyone that graduated college, they would talk about him, right?
Yeah, they'd want to get rid of him. For sure.
And so he started holding out seminars against the Taliban, talking about women's rights and like human rights and how we should all have basic human rights.
Whoa,
that's badass. Wow, super badass. I love like telling his story every time.
That's very cool.
But the part that sucked was one of his students was actually his family member was in the Taliban. Heard them over talking about my dad and how they need to like target him and like they need to like get rid of him. And he actually ended up running to my dad's office, came and told my dad that day and was like, you guys need to get out. Like they're going to come after you, this and that. And so, and the reason why I know this story so in detail is because my dad actually wrote the book in Farsi. And I was in 10th grade when he had me like translate it. So I've kind of like gotten the story in detail. But I personally was only 6 months old when I lived it. So like, this isn't from memory. This is from like what I've read.
Yeah.
But like what your parents experience, like that energy is there. So it's great that you know exactly what happened. Then you can like, you know, understand them.
Exactly.
Better.
Yes. That's very true. And so like, I know the sacrifice they've kind of like had to make and the things they've given up. But in that story, he just talks about how I was only 6 months old and he was basically like holding me by my arm, dangling, and running through like some tunnel because we had to go underground. And we took everything we could that like we could carry. So my siblings don't have baby pictures. I do, they don't. Because like I started growing up in Pakistan and stuff. So we just had everything we could. And I have 5 other siblings. So it was a family of 8. I was the baby at 6 months old, and my oldest brother was probably like 15 at the time. And so we dipped, and my dad had a good amount of money at the time. We were like a governmental family, so we had our own driver. You know, we got like, it was a little different back then. It's cool because like we lived a good life that I don't even know about. But it's like, oh yeah, we lived life.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, exactly. I mean, at least you got some good memories. You know what I mean? I'm sure you have memories as like a kid. Oh, okay, okay.
Because I was only 6 months old, right? So like, I don't know anything. But my siblings were like, like they had to keep clean and cook and stuff, but like we had our driver and like we had our little groceries getting delivered, and this is Afghanistan. This isn't America. So it's like, for me to hear that, I'm like, oh, okay. Like my mom was showing me pictures of her wearing mini skirts and stuff back in the day. I'm like, okay. But like these are all pictures she doesn't have anymore, right? Like it's whatever my aunts have in Germany. So
but that's like so cool that your dad stood up though, and like that's why you know, like he's probably blessed and gifted.
Oh, for sure.
In that way, that's like really beautiful to like have as a mentor.
I feel
in your
bad.
Life.
Yeah.
I feel really bad for all the ladies that unfortunately are going through what they're going through today.
My God, yeah. And like that's why I'm so grateful for my life. Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting here smoking weed on a podcast right now. You know, like I can't even touch weed, and it grows around me in that country. So it's just like
it's so true.
It's like crazy. I'm just like,
but maybe you know what? But maybe that's why you're attracted to it. Because for what it's worth, it is a part of your culture. Right. I mean, that's that. I mean, I've always said like I would love to go to the Middle East for the cannabis, but I mean, I could never go. I mean, look at me, like no, I'll be kidnapped in a heartbeat. Like no, I don't go. But it's it is the Afghani Kush. You know, like that's a
and it's funny because with our culture, like the elderly are so like wise and respected that. That's what all the grandmas are smoking in the hookah. You know, and like at that point, they live life so no one like cares. I hear they like
make kids like run through the fields and get it on their fingers and like gather it up to make hash and stuff like that. My sisters were talking about it
the other day. They didn't even know that they used to like bite cannabis seeds because we're a big seed. Like the thing about Afghans, we love our meat, our nuts. Like we love nuts. If you come to an Afghan person's house, first of all, they're not even going to ask you. They're just going to put tea on the table for you. Oh, we don't ask. It's like rude. It's like you don't do that. And if you come over and there's no nuts on my table, I'm a bad host.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got to have like the little setting of like the nuts, and they are on each little compartment, so it's not just one nut. Like it's not just a bowl of pistachios. You got an array. Okay.
Do they grow there?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do. Very similar to California.
Okay,
the land structure.
I see.
Very farmy, very
we
had our own little farm. We had our own like goats and stuff. So very agriculture. It's a very agricultural and we have mountains, so it's like we got all the different like terrains to grow
microclimates and things like that. Yeah,
literally,
very cool.
Yeah, so
it must just be in your DNA. It's in your blood to work with cannabis. Yeah, no, I mean really though. Like we've talked about this many times. Like it's in us, and it you come from a place where. That's where it grows. Yeah. I mean,
Well, it's like you guys said before, like it's our bodies react to it, right? We have our whole endocannabinoid system, the receptors and everything. So,
yeah.
But
okay, so then so you like you said, so what age did you get into the U.S.? Because you're 6 months old.
So we lived in Russia for like 5 or 6 years. I was like 6.5 when we moved to the U.S. We came here in 2000.
Do you speak Russian?
A little bit. Okay. Like it's crazy because within 5 months I learned English. But like my Russian just slipped out of my mind. Like I know like 5 words, and I used to be fluent. Like,
well, you'd have to be, right?
Right. I was fluent. Like I was watching all my shows in Russian, like Tom and Jerry. I didn't know the English version. I knew the Russian version. And then we we came out here and I'm like, oh my God, there was Tom and Jerry, but there's no Nutella. Like, I was like, where the heck's my Nutella, bro? Like, it was a culture shock.
I bet. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Russia's very different than here. Yeah.
So,
it's also
I know like
freezing.
and I know cocktaila, and that's literally just hi, how are you?
That's something, more than I know.
I'm like, my mom always says if I ever go back, I'll probably pick it up pretty quick.
Oh yeah, but your brain like muscle memory or something. Yeah,
but I learned Spanish now, so I'm like, I don't know if my like brain has that capacity anymore.
Do you speak? I guess it's Arabic. Farsi.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you speak?
Well, it's technically Dari.
Okay.
But Farsi is like the neighboring language which Iranians speak.
Okay.
And it's funny because like the dialect I speak is
it would
closer
be different
to Farsi.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's all different based on where you are. Yeah.
But yeah, I speak Dari basically.
That's interesting. Very cool. Very
and it's funny because even with that, I speak it fluently, but I cannot write it.
Oh.
We read and write from right to left. And it's like squiggles. So like certain letters will like turn into something else when you connect it. Girl, it's a trip.
You're like, I don't know. I messed up the whole sentence. I put a wrong line somewhere.
So like when I translated my dad's book, oh my God, it was like a shit show because I'm a freaking sophomore and I'm like just getting into partying phase. So I want to like go hang out with my friends and party. But my dad's over here like trying to change our life. And I'm like fucking naive.
Oh my God, Dad, it's so irritating.
Right? I'm like, God, can I just go hang out with my friends? And so we had to like sit down together. It's not like some side project I could just do because I couldn't read it. So he's sitting there like reading line by line and I'm like writing line by line. And I'm like, God damn it. Like I have more homework now and I don't even like go to school for this. Like what am I doing right now? And now 10 years later, I'm like, damn, I wish I like translated it better. I'm like, I wish I was like,
you could probably remaster it. I'm sure you could probably redo it.
I've kind of thought about it a few times. I'm like, maybe if I just grab it from
and then you can put it on, is it on audiobook?
No, well, we never like published it or anything.
You should publish it with Amazon and everything.
We tried. Well, this is before the internet kind of took over because it's like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
He tried publishing it, but it was literally the old route where you print it, put it in with the cover letter, send it. Yeah. We sent it to like 30 publishing companies.
No.
A sophomore translated that. So.
Yeah. I bet you could you could probably retranslate it or pay for somebody. You probably find it on Fiverr. You probably get on Fiverr and find somebody to translate it and then just upload it to Amazon. I mean, from what I understand, they take just about anything. As long as there's no copyrights, like they're like, whatever.
I know,
like,
I should, huh?
That'd be cool.
Because we tried to find like a ghostwriter.
Okay.
But then he just like kind of switched the whole like thing, and then he wanted it to be from my point of view, like from a woman and stuff. And I'm like, okay, but this isn't my story. Like this is my dad's story, and like that's what we're trying to publish. Like I'm not the one that ran through the tunnel. Like I get what you're trying to do, get a woman's point of view on like the issue, but like that's not the same.
That's not the story. Yeah,
the documentation is so important.
Yes,
though, like having it there and having other people be able to experience that story, and it is this crazy place in America where people come from all these different countries, and like some of us are like the rebels. And like the ones that are gonna move mountains and because you have that resilience, you have that within you.
Yeah, so that's so cool. So how was growing up in Connecticut?
Oh my God, it was boring but fun. I don't know how to put it. Like, well, first of all, the only way you could get high back then was to take a hike and like go into the mountains, and then when there's no one there, you can finally spark up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like,
so it was like super illegal.
Oh my God! Like, and I was telling Mindy earlier, we were not paying $20 an eighth. Okay, we were paying $20 a gram. A gram, like that's like that much.
That joint, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get out here, and we couldn't get weed at the dispensary, so we followed the guy that did, and we like caught him at the red light. We're like, hey, yo, can you like get us some weed? Yeah. He's like, yeah, maybe over there. He literally gave us an eighth for $20, and me and my brother sped out so quick because we're like, oh my God, he fucked up. Like, he doesn't know his math. We're like, fuck yeah. And then we hit him up again a week later to get some more, and like he does it again, and we're like, all right, like cool. And then the third time we're like, bro, this is the price. This is the freaking price out here. We're over here paying. What took us so long to move to Cali? Like, we've been paying $20 a gram for so long.
No,
I could have like saved so much money.
Dude, well, mind you're paying that out there, right? So then we're over here in California growing up, and we're the ones sending it over there, building hopes and dreams that will unfortunately get dissolved, sadly. But the money that we were all making over here was insane.
Yeah,
insane. I mean, you had a couple plants in your backyard, and you were like
golden.
Yeah, so it was a crappy time for you guys. But it was a golden era for cannabis. Yeah, they talk about the green rush. I'm like, the green rush is over. Like, that happened. That was it. Yeah, like when you could get $4,000 a pound for sun grown and didn't even have to be like the best of the best. Like nowadays, it's like if sun grown's not just top tier, nobody's even
looking at it. Yeah.
No, they're like, that should go into this.
And that's like what I was definitely paying $20.
Probably rosin.
Or rosin. Yeah, it's going to be made into something. It's not even going to go into a jar. But yeah, it's crazy. So how did you get to California?
The weather. We lived in Connecticut.
A storm just blew you in?
Honestly,
like Mary Poppins.
The last storm was pretty strong. I went outside to like find my car, and all I saw was like the tip of my windshield wipers sticking out. Like it was a Toyota Corolla. The whole car was just under snow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're like, why are we still here? Like, what are we doing here?
We don't have to be here. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, we ended up in Connecticut because my dad, we got to America because of that whole Taliban thing.
Yeah.
They had some national like peace treaty meeting or something. And they had like about 8 people from all over the world that they basically invited to the US. My dad was one of them. Mm-hmm. And so he came in 96. Took us about 4 years to get the whole family here in 2000. But that's why we ended up in Connecticut. Like, he ended up at some conference in New York, met this other Afghan guy that was already here. He became his mentor. He owned a Subway. That's how we got into like owning a Subway eventually. Yeah. And that's just it. Our life just started to build in Connecticut.
So my brain for a minute, I was like, owning a Subway. I'm like a transit.
The restaurant.
Sorry.
And that was back.
Like, where do you own a Subway at? Like, what city?
How do you own it?
I'm like, is that like a Tesla thing? Like, yeah. Like, I'm like, why are you working for Hall of Flowers? Like, if you own a Subway, like,
you're like, wait.
Hey, no, the Subway. Hey, that's a legit pathway. I think more people should take that opportunity, especially folks that want to be entrepreneurs that don't want to have an idea. There's nothing wrong with that franchise.
It was great for a family of 4.
Yeah,
yeah, but not a family of 8.
Did you turn into a family of 8?
We were always a family of 8. Like, I had 5 siblings, right? I'm the baby of 6 kids. There's 3 girls, 3 boys.
Wow.
And like, it's a great business for like a small family who doesn't have that much of an expense.
Yeah.
Or if you start expanding and you have multiple Subways, which basically Afghans started to be known as Subway owners in Connecticut because that's what happened, right? Like, every Subway, it was an Afghan owner.
Yeah, it's like the kids turned 18. He was like, here's your own Subway.
Literally. So that's how we got there.
That's like the wedding gift, the new dowry is the Subway. Like, yeah, you can marry her if you give me another Subway.
Hey, that's so smart though. Like, that's setting you.
That's
like,
well, I recently saw a documentary about how a lot of Patels are motel owners.
Oh, okay.
Same exact concept.
Yeah,
when they first came out, they did that, and then they kept setting up all their nephews, their sons, everyone, and now 80% of the motel owners literally are Patels, and they literally are all related. Yeah, it's not just like a common name; they're the Patel family.
Oh my God, that's
and I was smart. Like, bro, we tried to do that with Subway. Like,
so what happened to the Subway franchise? Are you guys still have it?
No. Okay, so really, really sad story with that one. I don't know. Like, life is crazy, right?
Yeah.
The Sandy Hook shooting.
Yeah.
10 miles away from our Subway.
No.
Yeah. So it's just like,
wow.
And that was the last of it. But before that, they opened up another Subway like a few miles down. So we already started losing customers. And then that whole thing happened.
And nobody. No.
And my dad was devastated because about 3 or 4 of those kids used to go on weekends after their soccer tournament. So it was just like a whole thing.
That is really sad.
So my dad was like, I'm good with this whole business at this point. We're like, and we were looking to come out of Cali and we were just like, It's time.
Yeah.
So this is the call. Yeah.
So when did you get to? How old were you when you got to California?
Oh my God, I was 21.
Oh,
yeah. It was like it was bittersweet. You know, it was bittersweet. I left my whole life in Connecticut. It's like I left all my friends. I left everyone.
Yeah.
And then we came to Cali, and I'm like, oh great, I'm 21. Like I have no one to go to bars with. Like I have
like you'll find people real fast in California to go to bars with.
What the fuck do I do? Like woo, like I could smoke weed outside, but like. Guess I'm going with my dog. He's like, I don't have friends yet. Like, so it was bittersweet, but then I like got into brand ambassador work, and that was in the alcohol industry.
Okay.
And I was like, I fucking love Cali.
Yeah, I bet.
This is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because those brand ambassador jobs for alcohol, you guys get to go to some really cool places.
It was so fun.
Yeah, I knew somebody who did that, and they got paid very well.
Yep.
And they got to do all sorts of really fun things.
And that's like what changed my whole like path in Cali, because once I found that job, and we were called models back then, promo models.
Yes.
Because it was alcohol. Yeah.
What was the big company that used to do that? Did you work, was it?
Diageo.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have all the good brands.
Yeah.
Like Johnny Walker, they have Don Julio. They got the like high-end ones too. So I was like, okay. Nice. And then once you meet one person from one, you find everybody at the agencies. They're like, oh, we're looking for a girl. We're looking. So I was like, cool. I quit all my look. I didn't have any full times actually. So I was like, cool. We're not starting full times. We're just gonna be part time with everyone. Yeah. And then I built my own schedule.
Cool.
So I was like, oh, nice. Like, and like you said, they paid well. So
there's probably some really cool parties too.
Oh my God, cool parties, events. We did this one gala in SF, and like. They literally had hired people that they painted gold to stand as like the statues.
Oh my God.
And then we ourselves had like these like big poofy skirts as part of like with our corset with like our little fit.
Yeah.
And it was just cool. Like they had people on stilts and stuff like that. Wow. And I was just there like, do you want a shot?
Yeah.
Do you want a shot? You want a shot? I'll take one with you. But I gotta hide it. I'm not supposed to, but I will.
That's fun. See, that's really fun.
So it was pretty fun.
That's cool, yeah.
It was cool because like we got our little fits with it.
Yeah.
But the only like downside was like dealing with drunk people once they got drunk.
Oh, for sure. Especially in those little outfits.
Like, yes.
Yeah, like weed parties like that, but weed parties.
Yeah, yes, we do.
Exactly. It was really refreshing coming into weed after that because I was like, oh.
Yeah. When did you make the transition?
2019 with PAX.
Oh,
so it was funny because I came into weed, but I wasn't like with a weed brand.
Yeah.
Because they were still technology at the time. They weren't plant touching. So that was cool too, because even with PAX, I did concerts with them.
Yeah,
I saw Tyler the Creator, I saw Lizzo, I saw like a few like
they do a lot of fun things.
Yeah, and like they were really cool because we had the engraver. Yeah, so that was our whole spiel, and then I would like get to meet the artists because I'd give them their packs and we'd be the sponsor and like all that stuff. So I was like, this is SF, like I love life. Yeah. And then that's when I was like, wait. Weed is fun. Like I always consumed it, right? And like my homegirl worked at Connected at the time, so she would always get me my weed because they'd get like whatever holiday bonuses and stuff, right? So I always had my little weed connect, but then I was like, wait, why don't I like get into it and like really do it? Yeah. Started with PAX, then I got my sales position right after college with, I think they were called like Phoenix Logistics at the time or something. They're Greenworks now. Okay. Yeah, got thrown into sales with no training or anything. Never got trained, and I was like, I don't really know like what I'm supposed to be doing.
Oh my gosh!
So, and the guy's like, "Well, you're a quick learner. Like you'll learn quick." I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine, but like I just need someone to like show me it."
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, like you got it. Here's like these stores and hit them. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, but like, what do I do?
Like, what do you say?
Yeah, like, I don't even know. Like,
who do I ask for? Like,
and he goes, "This is wholesale price. This is that," and I'm like, what do you mean wholesale price? Like, I didn't even know. And he's like, I told him, I was like, guys, I told you my background's strictly marketing. Yeah. And then they saw me like doing a bunch of reels to like get sales, and they're like, wow, you're right, you are more in marketing. I'm like, I've been like saying that. Like, why is no one listening to me? And so I finally like realized, I was like, I'm just gonna like let them do their thing. And then I found another alcohol brand job where it was for gin, and I just got to drive to Bevmo's.
Oh, fun.
Literally, the whole job was driving to Bevmo's.
And just dealing with the displays and stuff, huh?
Yeah. Merchandising. And I'm like, dude, this is so fun. Yeah. And like the owners and shit or managers loved me because I'm always walking in with a little sample for them.
Yep.
And I'm like, hello, like I know what to do here. Like, you don't even need to train me. Like, I got some cool bonuses because I got some cool displays and stuff.
Yeah. But I think that helped you, like with your dispensary work, because it's pretty much the same thing, right? Like you go into the dispensaries,
exactly
they're like,
the same thing.
Hey, put this here, make sure the promo, the branding is out there.
Exactly the same, literally. And like I would have to like count, like, okay, how much do they have on their shelf this week? Okay, they're selling, they're not. Yeah. We should probably place it over here. Like, what do I need to do to place it by the register? Yeah, all that stuff. So it was cool, and I used that exact skill to get my Arnie's job for marketing.
Oh, cool.
So that was like my first like
Uncle Arnie's
job. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Shout out to my girl Gabby. Yeah. That's how I got that
Lexi.
job. And same thing. They weren't hiring for a marketing manager. They were hiring for a sales rep in the East Bay. And I was like, like I'm not in sales, but I've always been like an opportunist. I've always been like, you know what, shoot your shot. Closed mouths don't get fed. So I'm like, let's see.
That's true.
Always ask. True. It's always, worst thing is like you'll get a no, right?
Yeah.
I applied, I got the job, and within 2 weeks they switched me to marketing manager. They were like, we need you way more in marketing than this. And I was like, fuck yeah, like this is my avenue. Yeah, let's go.
You. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we did that. I was there for a bit, and then they laid off their whole marketing department, which was me and my boss, the CMO. So I was like, okay. That's when I started my lash business. That led to that because I was like, no one can fire me from my own business. Except I ended it in 2 months.
14 hours later.
Oh yeah, like 3 back pains later.
So you're with Hall of Flowers and is it Pabst Lab now?
Yeah. So funny story. I got into that a month after starting my lash business. I was like, oh cool, steady income. Like it'll just be my part-time steady income till I build my business, and then I can like just quit everything and like run this, and I'll make bank because it's like $200 an eyelash set.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I found out I hated doing it, first of all. Because, like, most people that come, they're either falling asleep or, like, they're, like, not really talking much. So I'm, like, listening to podcasts or whatever. And I was like, I need to talk.
You have to like really love putting at it. I just love this. Like that's your.
I like that you tried though. Like you put it up and you try, because like sometimes that's what stops people.
Yeah,
is like you're gonna learn so much what you like, what you don't like, how to
right
move
there
through the business world. Because like you already come from like a family that like own businesses. You're like, okay, well, let's just pop this up.
That's so true, because that's what I realized. I was like, wow, I love running my social media page for my lash business. I'm like, this is so much fun. I was doing more videos than I was like actually doing lashes. And I'm like,
you should maybe create your own marketing agency. Look into that. That might be.
I've actually been thinking of that.
Yeah,
like
do it.
Sort of content
don't do one of the silly courses online, because you can find all the information for free on YouTube. But if you like that kind of stuff, that's like
get into more of that aspect.
Dude, people need that all the time.
Making the content, honestly. I love it.
That's what people in editing and all that. That's what people need, because
it's fun.
You'd be surprised. Like once I started doing this and stuff, like I had to kind of learn how to do all this stuff. Like we talked about. You're like, I don't even know how to get that started.
Yeah, that's
and I'm like, it's not that hard. And it's the same thing with the marketing. And if you really enjoy it, because I went down that path for a second, because I like the creative side of it, but I was like, that's just not for me. Couldn't see myself doing it day in and day out. But for somebody like you that obviously loves it,
oh my God,
because then you can be your own boss and you could tailor it to cannabis.
And, that's like my like end goal.
Yeah,
even with like growing a good weed, that's why I love it so much. It's our passion project, because it's like
turn it into a marketing business. Now it's a marketing business.
Throwing parties and stuff. Like I'm making content for it.
That's very cool. We actually have one of your partners coming on next. She's in January, right? Diana.
Yeah.
Hey, I love
Diana.
D.
Yeah.
Shout out to D. She really like got us together with the consumption lounges with you guys. So.
Yeah, organized.
Yeah,
that was big. That was a big moment.
That was a big turnout.
Shout out to Sac City.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I used to go to Sac City.
Everybody out there, grinding and getting those lounges done. So that's very cool.
We'll see how that, moves with the events and how we do different things.
That's going to change it.
It's such an important part of like building community, but also, like you said, like the marketing. Like at the end of the day, like we also want to work together, but we want to work together and have fun and build relationships. And like you can't really do that without having a space to be able to do that. So
that right there, the space to do it is the huge challenge.
Well, and I think with the signing of the bill for the events and like the food consumption and everything like that, I think that, you know, you mentioned Hash Hole Island, or not Hash Hole, it's National Hash Hole. Sorry, there's two events. But the National Hash Hole's coming up, and like that's like a good event that like is rolling around on a regular like yearly basis. That's kind of what we used to have back in the day prior to legalization, like the high time events and stuff. And I 1000% believe that is what got the industry in California so set up for the legalization transition, because people were able to interact with the public and their brand one-on-one, and that is not something that's happening right now. And I think that's a big problem for everybody, because like you said, with alcohol, it's like you get to go to all these events and parties, and like up until recently, it's like you couldn't really do that with cannabis. That's true. Yeah, so it's going to be really exciting to see what happens with, you know, your guys' events and things like that. So
even Hall Flowers, that's kind of like
same thing.
That Consumer Day, and we got that was so much good feedback.
I heard it was like 8,000 people.
Yeah. We had 7,000 in Shade Park for the joint sesh.
That's dope.
So
I was there.
We hit the record. So
I was laying on one of the beanbags.
We broke the record. Let's go. So that's what I'm saying. It's like really cool, because we took a lot of like different things to make history this year.
And you know, in the last week or whatever, you know, my account manager, she hit me up and gave us like access to give free tickets to friends and family and stuff. So I brought like literally my mom and like friends of mine, and like my coworker got to bring her wife, and like we got to bring like these people that are close to us that you know don't always get to see what we do, right? They hear about it and they see the retail side of like that facing, but to be everybody just together as a community, all the brands and public and everybody, it was such a good feeling,
especially people not in the industry, right? Like they're always going to the shops, they were buying the weed.
Every
or
customer
whatever
that I had that did buy tickets that came back in, they were like, that was the most coolest fucking event we've ever been to. Like, let us know again. Like, oh, are they gonna do that again? Are you guys gonna do it for Ventura or just up here?
Just Santa Rosa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Ventura is gonna go back to B2B strictly, and that's because it's a new fairgrounds for us. They're a lot stricter. So
are they?
We didn't want to push
Santa
our
Rosa
luck,
has been pushing weed events since
and that's why we're like, this is our OG fairground. So like,
and
let's keep it this way, you know?
Yeah, it's big enough to where like you could set it all up. I love the
you could even
little different spaces and like the more activities.
Yeah, exactly.
And
like even the Sonoma Hills restaurant that we did, like in the back. I've never used that building before. Yeah,
that was so cool. Like everything, I got a buyer ticket. Like I was like, this is cool. And what was so cool about that was I have never really gotten an experience to sit down with other buyers.
Yeah,
without any bud tenders and no brands. It's just us sitting at tables, and a lot of it, you could only be a buyer to get in there. So a lot of it was just one person going in by themselves. So everybody sitting at tables was like having to kind of get to know each other. And I sat next to a lady who, oh God, I can't remember her name right now, but she runs 3 rows down in Santa Cruz, and it's a really small kind of little touristy shop.
I know who you're talking about.
God, what is her name? It's something kind of unique.
I talk to Chad a lot.
Yeah, anyways. Chad's her CEO. Yeah, anyways. And I sat down next to her and we got talking. And it was so cool because her and I run a very similar program and store and everything. And I was like, I never got to meet anybody else who experiences what I get to experience every day. So it was a very good thing. So I'm glad that you guys have like found ways to put people together that need to be together. You know, it's like, nope, here.
Yeah, you live the same life.
Yeah, here. You guys all stay together. Nobody else gets to go in. No brands, no buy. You know, nobody hassling you guys, and you guys get to just, you know, be with each other, because I think those conversations, like, it just builds more and more community and more energy together, and it just it's what grows this industry 100%.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
oh my God, I love hearing that. That's so cool.
Oh, Hall of Flowers
that's like the feedback we look for, you know.
I know some people are haters on the event. I won't lie. I know that's a thing, but for me personally, I love it. I want you guys to continue. I want you guys to keep making that event bigger and bigger so that it becomes, as big as like an MJ Business Con where people are flying around the world to come to it because it's a one-of-a-kind experience.
Well, we got some things in stores.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure you guys do.
Ventura.
It changes every year. I mean, every year it's different. You never know what to expect, So
I know I think that's what makes it so much fun, like working with them.
Yeah.
I started 2 years ago, but I started on the retail end. I was working with Alex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was the one calling.
Oh, Alex is my lady. Yeah.
And so I would just call dispensaries, be like, "Hey, don't forget you have 2 tickets, like to the show. Are you coming?" And like we would register them. And then it's funny because PAX was actually hiring again, and this is right before our May 2023 show. And they made me a decent offer, and I was like, "Oh!" And at the time, I was still like full time, but I was just doing retail with All Flowers. And so I told the team, I was like, "Hey, like I might get my 2 weeks soon, blah blah." And shout out to Chris because he was the one that was like, "What?" I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, yeah, I got a good offer. He's like, "Hold up, I just talked to Danny the other day about Chris." Shout out to Chris because that's how I took the onboarding job. Yeah, I almost took the position with PAX, but then HMF proposed one that I couldn't deny. So that was about almost a year and a half ago.
Oh, wow.
And then right after, like a few months into that, I kind of flipped into onboarding / sales. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is fun. Like, let me do more sales. Onboarding's fun and all, but like, I'm just collecting paperwork. Let me like talk to these people more and just have these conversations because I love talking to begin with. So I'm just presenting something and, ooh, thanks. And so, yeah, I got into sales and everything else changed because I was like, okay, we're staying here for a while.
Well, and you're pretty easy to talk to, so I'm sure sales kind of came easy for you because that's really what it's about is like talking to people and building the relationship. And you have to have a gift for gab, as they say, basically.
A little bit.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So,
I love that because sales is not where I would want to be myself. So
it's tough.
Give respect. Yeah, because people they'll pick your stuff apart. Like you'll go into the dispensary and it's just like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to sell massagers at Costco. So like, so I've learned the big tactic I've learned for every 9 no's, you'll get 1 yes. So like, I don't expect a yes very often at all. But once I've gotten like multiple no's, I'm like, today's the day. Yeah. Today my yes is coming.
Yeah.
Gotta believe. That's a lot of faith. Right? Like that's a lot of like you gotta push through. Be like, no, like it's still gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, like someone like, we're just not interested. I'm like, cool, may I ask why? They just don't answer. I'm like, cool. It's cool.
Hey, that's a good lead question. May I ask why? Yeah.
But some will answer. And I'm like, thanks for that feedback. That's actually really helpful. Like, let me see if I could do something.
I did the door-to-door sales to learn sales, so I agree with you. It's a lot of no's. Get off my porch.
Yes. I'm not even gonna open my door next time. Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating.
I went through that when I sold pies for middle school.
Yeah.
So.
Oh. See, you've always been in sales, so you didn't even realize it.
With that, it was kind of an easy sell because like I lived in Connecticut.
And you're a little kid.
And like, who's not going to say yes to a $10 pie? Like, but it was cool. Yeah. I actually, now looking back, I'm like, they really set you up to like be a cool little like entrepreneurial type of person. Yeah. Because they had little incentives. Mm-hmm. If you sold so many pies, you get this. You sold so many pies, you get this. And then the big prize was like a freaking motorized car thing, which like as a kid you want. So like you're gonna go sell as many pies as you can to get that like $500 item.
Yeah, we were literally dollars to schools as we grew up in public school. That's like
because I think that money was for the schools. Like the money that we were selling for like was for the schools. Yeah. Like no, I remember it was like we had to do chocolate bars at our school. That was the thing. You
we had lollipops too.
Yeah, and you got to get like little prizes. The big prize always was the money tent. They'd let you get in the little money tent that blew all the money around. Oh my God. And you'd like have to grab, that was like the goal. I think you had like 50,000 points or something crazy like that, you know? Yeah.
Wow. They brought that to Hall of Flowers when we were in Toronto for one of the brand activations.
I saw.
But I still didn't.
They had that in the buyer thing, didn't they? Have that in the buyer thing?
Maybe.
I think they had that in the buyer didn't. Yeah, because I remember seeing it, but a line formed heck of fast.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I never get to do those.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's a line. Okay.
Yeah.
Just like at our events, I've never gone to massage because every time it's like. And there's a line. I gotta go take care of this, so I'll be back. And I come back, I'm like, oh, there's still a line. Let me just go do something else real quick.
Man, shout out to this massage therapist, man. I don't know how they take care of their bodies, because like they'll massage for hours, and they're like, it's it's fine. Sit down, have another go. I'm like, are you sure?
You must have really strong thumbs.
Shout out to Tiffany. She comes through.
Right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I got weak wrists. That's definitely not my profession. I'm good.
No, not at all. So, well, is there anything you would like to share extra that people need to know about you or the industry that you wanna put a message out there for the world to know?
I'm just really excited to have that all-inclusive resort one day where we could just get there and there's gonna be weed right next to your bed and you can pick an edible.
It's like on a cruise ship. Instead of you can get a drink package, you get the weed package, or you get the 420 boozy package.
Let's go. That's what I want. That's what I'm waiting for. I think we should all collectively work really hard to get that.
All right. Well, I ask everybody if they have like something that like a code they live by or a statement for the world to live by. What would yours be?
Oh my God. I actually said it earlier. Closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah,
I've always lived by that. And it's gotten me far.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It's gotten me in some holes, like sometimes, but it's like I said, for every 9 no's, you'll get that one.
Yeah,
yes, so.
I agree.
You gotta like tell people what you need. Also,
yes,
right?
yeah, that's true. But that's what I love about the plant.
Spenta, for
of course,
hanging out, talking with us.
Yes,
I really appreciate it.
It's been fun. This is a fun conversation.
Oh, thank you guys so much. Like, this is so fun. This is my second podcast now, so that's really exciting too. Yeah.
So if you want people to find you on LinkedIn, or are you going to start another Instagram?
I'm really like on the verge. I'm trying to see if I could get unsuspended.
Okay. What was that again? What was that page again?
Smoking Spent with a G.
With a G.
Because my first one was without a G.
Okay, good.
My TikTok is still without a G.
Yeah, okay.
I'm still on there.
You're still on TikTok. Yeah. Okay, good.
So TikTok, I've really like stepped away from my cannabis content. Because I got about almost 12K followers now.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, it's thanks to a duck video. None of my own shit. I mean, it was my own video, but like, if you've seen a duck swimming in a pond in San Francisco,
that's you, huh?
With a harness, that was me. My dog's in there. You'll see.
Do you have a duck?
Yeah, I have a dog.
Oh, no, you have a dog, but you don't have a duck. Okay, the duck was just happened to be there.
I just was walking my dog, and he happened to be walking his dog and his duck. And the duck wanted to go for a swim, so he like took the little harness off, took his little shoes off, and then and then he threw the duck, but like the duck flew and like flew into the pond. It was funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that video got a lot of traction. I got like 20 million views on that video.
Did they pay you anything?
No.
Oh.
No.
But you can go live now, right?
Well,
so you can start,
because of it.
You can just go live now.
I'm a TikTok influencer now. So you know how they have the TikTok shop? They send me stuff, and that's why I stepped away from my cannabis content.
Oh, because you're like, I need money,
I'm like,
baby.
Hold up, this page is like, I can't get this one shut down. Like I ain't going. That was like a lucky moment of making that many followers. So I was like, there's no way I'm like.
No, you can make real money on TikTok.
Yeah.
I mean, people make some
so
money.
So far, I've made $40 off commissions.
Hey, give it up.
We're getting there.
Though, it's there.
Yeah, right. So I was like, okay, we'll start doing like more relatable content on there that has nothing to do with weed, but everything to do with weed.
Well, if you want to find her fun, all the content you make is really entertaining and really funny. So you guys should find her on TikTok. And like we said, it's a pleasure for you to have been here today. And thank you for telling your story. And
of course,
thank all of you for tuning in today. And we hope all of you have made it to the end of this video, because if you have, we really appreciate it. But you can find us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Make sure to subscribe. Leave us a comment or leave us a review. It really helps the channel kind of grow. We really want to get this out to everybody as much as possible. And then we're also on Instagram, Facebook. You can find us anywhere. We also have a little web page. So if you'd like to be on the show, I have a little link in our link tree on Instagram that you can click on, apply if you'd like to be on the show. And then any suggestions, we're always welcome to them. So I hope all of you ladies have a great day today. And everybody out there, have a fantastic day. We'll see you next time.
Bye.